Hi everyone, welcome back to a new Roblox story. This time, the story is about the popular Roblox game, Forsaken. As always, not all of our stories are based on true events, but some are. We found the story on Reddit, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the story, if you dare. Personally, Forsaken isn't my favourite game, so I'm playing something else during the story. There was a girl named Zoe who lived in a quiet neighbourhood in Oregon. She was 13 years old and spent most of her free time playing Roblox games with her friends. Her favourite game was called Forsaken, a spooky survival game where 10 players had to work together to escape from one scary killer. Zoe had been playing for 2 months and was getting really good at it. She knew all the best hiding spots, could repair generators quickly, and had unlocked her favourite survivor character, Noob. Zoe's gaming group included her 3 best friends, Blake, Harper, and Austin. They played together every Friday night after finishing their homework, always using voice chat to coordinate their escapes. But this Friday was different. Blake was sick with the flu, Harper was visiting her grandmother, and Austin's family had gone camping for the weekend. Zoe would be playing alone for the first time. No big deal, Zoe thought as she settled into her gaming chair. I'll just play a few quick matches and practice my generator repairs. Zoe opened Roblox and clicked on Forsaken. The main menu appeared with its haunting music and dark atmosphere. She could see the character selection screen showing all the survivors: Noob, Builderman, Guest 1Team37, and others. Zoe selected Noob, her lucky character, and clicked Find Match. The matchmaking screen appeared showing Looking for Players. Zoe waited as the counter slowly filled up. Usually it took less than 30 seconds to find a full lobby, but tonight it was taking much longer. The counter reached 8 players, then 9, then stopped. Weird, Zoe muttered, checking her internet connection. Everything seemed fine. Finally, the counter hit 10 players and the match began. Zoe found herself spawning on a map she had never seen before. It looked like Horror Hotel, but something was wrong. The usual red lighting was replaced by an eerie blue glow, and thick fog covered most of the map. Zoe could barely see 10 feet in front of her character. She looked at the player list in the corner of her screen. It showed 10 survivors and 1 killer, just like normal. But the killer's name was different from any she had seen before. Instead of the usual killers like CO0L Kid or John Doe, this one was called the Spectre Eternal. Must be a new killer, Zoe said to herself, though her voice sounded uncertain. Zoe began walking through the foggy hotel, looking for generators to repair. The normal ambient sounds of Forsaken, creaking floorboards, distant thunder, wind through broken windows, seemed louder and more unsettling than usual. She found her first generator in the hotel lobby, but when she started repairing it, the sound effects were wrong. Instead of the usual mechanical noises, she heard whispers in a language she couldn't understand. As Zoe worked on the generator, she noticed something strange about the other players. Their usernames appeared above their heads as they moved around the map, but these weren't normal Roblox usernames. They were names like Lost Soul 1, Trapped Forever, and Never Escape. Zoe had never seen usernames like these before. Hello, Zoe typed in the chat. Is anyone else hearing weird sounds? No one responded. The other players continued moving around the map in strange, robotic patterns. They weren't playing like real people. They moved too perfectly, never stopping to look around or check for the killer. Maya finished repairing her first generator, and the usual progress notification appeared. 155 generators complete. But instead of the normal, cheerful beep, the sound was deep and distorted, like it was being played through broken speakers. Suddenly, Maya heard the killer's terror radius music, the sound that plays when the killer is getting close. But this wasn't the normal chase music from Forsaken. This was something entirely different. It sounded like a music box playing a children's lullaby, but the notes were all wrong, twisted and off-key. Maya quickly hid behind a large desk in the hotel lobby, crouching to make her character smaller. She watched as a figure moved through the fog in the distance. At first, she thought it was the Spectre killer from the game, but as it got closer, Maya realized this was something else entirely. The figure was tall and thin, wrapped in tattered black robes that seemed to move on their own. Where its face should be, there was only darkness, a void that seemed to absorb light. When it moved, it didn't walk like the normal killers in Forsaken. Instead, it glided across the ground, leaving a trail of dark mist behind it. "This can't be a normal match," Maya whispered, her hands shaking as she gripped her mouse. The Spectre figure stopped in the middle of the lobby and slowly turned its head toward Maya's hiding spot. Even though it had no visible eyes, Maya could feel it looking directly at her. Then, impossibly, it spoke. Not through the game's voice chat, but through her computer speakers. "Maya," it said in a voice that sounded like wind through a graveyard. "I've been waiting for you." Maya's blood ran cold. The killer had said her real name, not her Roblox username, but her actual name. That shouldn't be possible. Roblox had privacy protections that prevented players from sharing personal information. Without thinking, Maya's character stood up and began running. She sprinted through the hotel's twisted corridors, past rooms with doors that hung off their hinges and windows that showed nothing but black void outside. Behind her, she could hear the Spectre following, its laughter echoing through the empty halls. Maya ran toward the hotel's exit, but when she reached the front door, it wouldn't open. She clicked repeatedly, but her character just stood there. She tried the windows, but they were sealed shut. Every potential escape route was blocked. "There's no leaving the hotel, Maya." The Spectre's voice came through her speakers again. "Not until we've had our game." Maya checked the game's user interface, but the normal Leave Game button was gone. The escape menu wouldn't open when she pressed the ESC key. Even Alt plus Tab didn't work. She was trapped in the game. Panicking, Maya tried to contact her friends through Discord, but her computer wouldn't switch programs. The Forsaken game window filled her entire screen, and nothing she did could minimize it or open other applications. On her phone, Maya quickly opened Discord and typed a message to her friends. "Something's wrong with Forsaken. The game won't let me leave." But when she checked her phone a moment later, the message was gone. In fact, her entire Discord conversation history with her friends had disappeared. It was as if they had never talked before. Maya looked back at her computer screen. Her character was now standing in the hotel's main dining room, surrounded by the other 9 players. But as Maya watched in horror, she realized these weren't players at all. They were children, real children, but their eyes were glowing with the same blue light as the fog. "Welcome to our eternal game, Maya," one of them said, a boy who looked about her age. "I'm Danny. I've been here for 6 months." "I'm Emma," said a girl with pigtails. "I started playing on my birthday. That was 3 years ago." 3 years? Maya gasped. "That's impossible." Time works differently in the Spectre's domain," said another boy named Carlos. "He collects players who play alone, especially on Friday nights. We thought it was just a game at first, too." Maya looked around at the group of trapped children. There were kids of all ages, from about 8 to 15. They all wore the same empty expression, as if part of them had been drained away. "What does the Spectre want?" Maya asked. "To feed," Emma said sadly. "He feeds on fear, on the terror of being trapped forever. Every time a new player joins our eternal match, he gets stronger." The Spectre appeared in the dining room, materializing from the shadows like smoke. When it spoke, its voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. "Maya has arrived to complete our collection," it said. 10 children, trapped forever in my domain. Your fear will sustain me for centuries. Maya backed away, but there was nowhere to go. The spectre raised one skeletal hand, and Maya felt a strange pulling sensation, as if something was being drawn out of her chest. "No!" Maya shouted, fighting against the pulling feeling. "I won't let you take me!" Maya remembered something from the real Forsaken game, generators. In the actual game, survivors had to repair 5 generators to power the exit gates and escape. Maybe the same rules applied here. "The generators," Maya said to the other trapped children. "We need to repair all 5 generators to escape." "We've tried," Danny said hopelessly. "Every time we repair them, the spectre just resets the match. We've been playing the same game over and over for years." "But this time is different," Maya said, pulling out her phone. "This time, someone knows I'm here." Maya had an idea. During her 2 months of playing Forsaken, she had learned something most players didn't know. There was a secret 6th generator hidden on every map. It was an Easter egg left by the game developers, and finding it would unlock a special achievement. If she could find and repair the hidden generator while the others worked on the regular ones, maybe they could overload the Spectre's system. "Listen," Maya whispered to the group. "I need you all to start repairing the normal generators. I'm going to look for something special." The trapped children nodded and scattered throughout the hotel. Maya could hear them starting to work on generators in different rooms, the familiar mechanical sounds echoing through the halls. The spectre let out an angry shriek. "You cannot escape! I am eternal! I am—" But Maya was already running, searching for the hidden generator. In the real Horror Hotel map, she remembered seeing a suspicious wall in the basement that looked different from the others. If this twisted version of the map followed the same layout, the secret generator might be there. Maya found the basement stairs and descended into darkness. The basement was even foggier than the upper floors, and strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls. At the far end of the basement, Maya found what she was looking for, a section of wall that shimmered slightly, like a mirage. Maya walked her character up to the wall and pressed the interact button. The wall dissolved, revealing a small room containing a generator that looked different from the others. This one was golden and covered in intricate patterns that seemed to move on their own. As Maya began repairing the secret generator, the spectre's angry voice filled the hotel. "What are you doing? Stop! You don't understand what you're interfering with!" "Generator 1 complete!" shouted Danny from upstairs. "Generator 2 complete!" called Emma. Maya worked faster on the golden generator. Unlike the normal ones, this generator required solving complex puzzles instead of just connecting wires. Maya had to match symbols, solve math problems, and complete pattern sequences. It was like the game was testing her intelligence and determination. "Generator 3! Complete!" yelled Carlos. The spectre appeared in the basement, its dark form filling the small room. "You will stop now, child. You don't know what forces you're meddling with." "I know you're stealing children," Maya said, not looking up from the golden generator. "I know you're keeping them trapped in here while their families think they're just playing games. That's going to stop tonight." "Generator 4 complete," came the call from upstairs. Maya was almost finished with the golden generator. Just a few more puzzle sequences to complete. But the spectre was getting closer, and Maya could feel that same pulling sensation getting stronger. Her vision was starting to blur, and her hands felt heavy on the keyboard and mouse. "You cannot resist me forever," the spectre hissed. "Soon you'll be just like the others. Empty, hollow, mine." "Generator 5 complete," Danny shouted. "All normal generators are done." The hotel shook as the exit gates powered on, but Maya knew it wouldn't matter. The spectre would just reset everything like it had countless times before. But Maya was on the final puzzle of the golden generator. If she could just... "There!" Maya shouted as she completed the last sequence. The golden generator erupted with brilliant white light that filled the entire basement. The spectre let out a terrible scream and began to fade, its dark form dissolving like smoke in the wind. "Impossible!" it shrieked. "The eternal prison. My collection. How did you know?" "Because I actually play this game," Maya said firmly. "And I know that every prison has a key." The hotel began to crumble around them. Maya ran upstairs and found the other children standing by the exit gates, which were now glowing with the same white light as the golden generator. "We can really leave?" Emma asked, tears in her eyes. "We can really leave," Maya confirmed. One by one, the children stepped through the exit gates and disappeared in flashes of light. Maya could hear the spectre's final, fading words. "This isn't over. There are other games, other children." Maya was the last to leave. As she stepped through the exit gate, everything went white. Maya opened her eyes and found herself back at her computer. The Forsaken game was closed, and her desktop showed her normal wallpaper. She looked at the clock. Only 20 minutes had passed since she had started playing, even though it felt like hours. Her phone buzzed with a Discord message from Connor. "Hey Maya, feeling better, want to play some Forsaken?" Maya quickly typed back, "No, don't play Forsaken alone. Something's wrong with the game." Connor responded, "Lol, what do you mean? I was just playing a match. Everything seemed normal." Maya realized that from Connor's perspective, nothing unusual had happened. But Maya knew better. She opened her web browser and started researching missing children and Roblox disappearances. What she found made her stomach drop. There were dozens of reports from around the world of children who had disappeared while playing online games alone. Parents thought their kids had just run away or gotten lost, but Maya now knew the truth. They had been taken into games like the one she had just escaped. Maya spent the rest of the night creating social media posts and forum messages warning other players about what she had experienced. Most people dismissed her story as fiction or attention-seeking, but a few private messages came from other players who had experienced similar things. A boy named Marcus from Florida wrote, "I believe you. My little sister disappeared 3 months ago while playing a game called Eternal Playground. The police said she probably ran away, but her computer was still on when we found her room empty." A girl named Sophia from Canada messaged, "Something similar happened to my friend. She was playing a horror game and kept talking about the collector who wanted to keep her in the game forever. We thought she was just being dramatic, but then she stopped answering her phone and her parents found her room empty." Maya realized this was bigger than just Forsaken. There were entities like the Spectre operating in multiple games, collecting children who played alone. She had to do something to warn people and help other trapped kids. Maya created a website called Safe Gaming Awareness, where she documented everything she had learned. She included warning signs that a game might be dangerous. Games that won't let you leave or close the program. Other players with strange, inhuman usernames. NPCs or enemies that know your real name. Game worlds that look familiar but feel wrong. Being unable to contact friends or family while playing. Maya also started a support group for families of missing children who had disappeared while gaming. Through her research, she discovered that some children could be rescued if their friends or family members knew exactly which game they were trapped in and could find the right key to free them. Over the following months, Maya helped rescue dozens of children from various corrupted games. Each game had a different method of escape. Some required solving puzzles, others needed specific items to be found, and a few could only be escaped by playing with a team of people who cared about the trapped player. Maya learned that entities like the Spectre were drawn to lonely, isolated players. Children who played alone, especially late at night, were the most vulnerable. The entities fed on feelings of fear and abandonment, growing stronger with each child they collected. But Maya also discovered something hopeful. The entities were weakest when faced with friendship and teamwork. Children who had strong social connections and friends who cared about them were much harder to trap permanently. Maya's website grew popular among parents and young gamers. She was invited to speak at schools about online safety and the importance of never gaming alone. Her presentations always ended with the same advice: play with friends, stay connected to the real world, and trust your instincts. If something in a game feels wrong, if other players seem too strange, if you can't leave when you want to, if the game knows things it shouldn't, don't ignore those feelings. Ask for help immediately. Maya also worked with game developers and platform administrators to identify and remove corrupted games before they could trap more children. Her work led to the discovery that many of these dangerous games were created by the same network of entities, all working together to harvest young players from across the internet. The original Forsaken game was temporarily shut down for investigation, but it was eventually cleaned and re-released with additional safety features. Maya was credited as a consultant on the new version, which included panic buttons that could immediately disconnect players and alert their emergency contacts if something went wrong. Connor, Lily, and Brett were shocked when Maya told them the full story of what had happened. At first, they didn't believe her, but when Maya showed them the evidence she had collected and introduced them to some of the children she had helped rescue, they became believers and helpers in her mission. "I can't believe you went through all that alone," Lily said during one of their gaming sessions months later. "That's exactly the point," Maya replied. "No one should have to face something like that alone. These entities target isolated players because they know nobody will miss them right away or know where to look for them." Maya's friends became part of her safety network. They created a buddy system where nobody in their group would play any new or unfamiliar games without at least one other person monitoring them. They also established check-in procedures and code words that could alert the others if something seemed wrong. 1 year after her encounter with the Spectre, Maya received a message that made her heart race. It was from an unknown account, and it simply said, "Thank you for showing us the light." Maya recognized the writing style. It was Emma, one of the children who had been trapped with her in the Eternal Hotel. Somehow, Emma had found a way to contact her from the real world. Maya quickly responded, "Emma, is that really you? Are you okay?" The response came quickly. "Yes, it's me. I'm back with my family. My parents thought I had been kidnapped, but I just appeared in my room one day with no memory of being gone. But I remember you, Maya. I remember you saving us." Over the following weeks, Maya heard from several other children she had helped rescue. They were all back in the real world, but most had no memory of their time in the games. Only a few, like Emma, retained clear memories of their imprisonment and rescue. Maya learned that the Spectre and similar entities hadn't been destroyed. They had just been weakened and forced to retreat. They were still out there, looking for new victims and creating new corrupted games. But now, there was a network of aware players and parents working to identify and stop them. Maya's work continued throughout high school. She studied computer science and cybersecurity, determined to develop better tools for detecting and preventing supernatural game corruption. She also maintained her support network for families and continued speaking at schools and gaming conventions. By the time Maya graduated, her Safe Gaming Awareness organization had helped rescue over 200 children from corrupted games and had prevented thousands more from being trapped in the first place. Game companies regularly consulted with her team before releasing new products, and several major gaming platforms had implemented her suggested safety features. But Maya never forgot the lesson she had learned that night in the Eternal Hotel. The most powerful force against darkness isn't technology or knowledge. It's people who care about each other and refuse to let their friends face danger alone. Maya still plays games, including Forsaken, but always with friends, and always with safety measures in place. She keeps a photo on her desk showing her, Connor, Lily, and Brett at a gaming tournament they won together. On the back of the photo, Maya had written, "Never play alone." And she never did. The end.